Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we've got a somewhat busy day. I don't know whether you can hear it, but I've actually got a hole in my back box. It only started yesterday, I think, or the day before, and so I've had Tidy have a look at my car for me, and he said that there's it basically rotted away, and so I'm going round a few places this morning to just price up how much it cost for the repair of the back box, and just take it from there. But the only thing is, this is my dad's car, so I'm buying the car off my dad because I've had, over the past couple of months, I've had the most awful times. When I was pregnant with Daisy, actually, I had a Mercedes. I ended up blowing it up. Whoops. Blew the head gasket up on that, and so, you know, it was no good for anybody really, and I didn't have the funds to replace it. So me and my dad went car hunting because I was heavily pregnant with Daisy, and so I needed a car because of all my appointments when I'm having to go in to have Daisy. Danny doesn't drive, so this car is like, me driving is the only way we can go shopping, go for appointments. Danny do his private jobs. Like, we literally rely on the car so much. But my dad actually took me one Saturday. We went everywhere. We were gone all day, and we went looking around different types of cars, and we went to different garages to find a car. And anyway, we found a car. It was a Mitsubishi Charisma, it was. So my dad bought the car for me, and then I was paying the car back. When we had to sign all the paperwork, we were signing everything you needed to sign, including warranty, all of that type of stuff. Made sure the car was taxed, insured, MOT'd, whatever. When we bought the car, they put 12 months MOT on the car, so I had to go back like a couple of days after we'd bought the car to go pick it up. They gave me a hire car for that couple of days, so I wasn't without. They said when my car's ready, obviously I take the car back and whatever. So I had a little 3-door Corsa, which was not ideal, especially with me being so heavily pregnant and having to put Charlie in the back of the car. It was just hard for me. I don't know how people cope with 3-door cars when they've got kids, because it's just not one for me. Maybe about 3 or 4 days later, they phoned up saying had its MOT done, it's ready for collection. I was like, sound. It was that evening, me and my dad went back up, bearing in mind it was like an hour and a half drive away from us. We've both driven up there, both in separate cars, because he didn't want to come in this car in case my car that we just bought needed air in the tyres, or if something was to happen. Like, he likes having his tools in his car in case of an emergency. And so he went in this car and I went in the Corsa. We went to go and pick it up. Before we'd even left, they obviously gave us the keys and whatever, and my dad noticed that it needed air blowing in the tyres, and he goes, this is why I wanted to come in my car, because I've got an air compressor in the car. So he pumped up the tyres, whatever. Then we went to the petrol station, fueled up. Anyway, enough of that. About 3 or 4 weeks later, I was driving up to see my friend Poppy, and then we were going to come into town to go and do a couple of bits. Bearing in mind, Poppy only lives literally 5 minutes away from me in the car. And so as I drove up there, everything was fine. As I was on the way back, coming back past my house to come to town, I hear this snap. Not even a snap, it was like a kind of noise. And so obviously I was like, what was that? Next minute, the car just stops. It just cuts out, nothing will start. There's no life in the car. So I phoned Tidy. He said that he was busy at the moment, so he'd have to come up in a little bit. Bearing in mind, at this point, Tidy's without a car as well. And so then I phoned my dad. I've told him over the phone what had happened. They said, call back the garage that we bought the car from, see what they can do. I finished on the phone with my dad. I phoned the garage back, and they said, if you can get the car back here, we can have a look at it for you. But we can't do anything otherwise. We're thinking, right, so we need to get a car that does not start an hour and a half away. Bearing in mind the steering's gone dead heavy because the car won't start. The brakes stuck on because the car won't start. I finished the call with them. I called my dad back. I told him what they said, and he was like, right, leave it with me and we'll sort it. And at this point, Tidy actually turns up and he's had a quick look. He's seen a loose connection under the bonnet, so he's fixed that because he's an electrician. So he's fixed that. Took them 2 seconds. Later on that evening, my mum and dad came up to have a look at the car. It was either that night or the following morning. They came up to look at the car because my dad's good with cars. He knows what sort of things to look for. He's normally good at fixing a problem if there's a problem he can fix. He had a look and he thought it was like the cam belt that had snapped. Basically, one of the belts under the bonnet had snapped, and so the car was not ticking over. It was not starting because his belt was broken. And so my mum and dad had to do what parents do. They had to get me out of the pothole I was in. They hired themselves a tow truck, so to speak. And my dad's a truck driver, just unless you didn't know, but my dad works and he's a truck driver and my mum's a dentist. Anyway, so my dad hired this tow truck thing to put the car on, and then my mum and dad took the car up because I was working. There's nothing I could have done, I was working. They took the car to the garage, and then my mum and dad was saying that they were quite shocked the fact that I was able to take the car back. Like, my mum and dad said that they probably thought, if the car's not working, we're not going to see it again and there's nothing we'll have to do. It was 3 weeks, by the way, because it had a month's warranty. Long story short, we had to fight an ongoing battle. I've had to get in contact with trading standards, citizens advice, all that carry on, and figure out, how to get the money back for the car because it's still under warranty, and at this point they're refusing to do anything because apparently belts do not come under warranty. Anyway, so my mum and dad ended up sorting it all out. We did get the money back before anyone starts wondering. Yeah, everything's sorted. They've had the car back. My dad's had his money back. So I was also paying my dad for the car, so the money that I'd given my dad, he said when we find another car, we'll just knock it off for that next car, because I did put money towards it. I was without a car for a good couple of weeks, and maybe like a week or two, and then my dad had found a car that he liked, and so I went with him because he needed a driver. And my sister and my mum, they do not like driving on motorways or bypasses or long distance in general, so my dad came to me. He was like, will I do it? Will I drive him to pick up this new car for him? I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll go with you. So me and my dad went back down in this car, picked up the car, he signed over all the paperwork and whatever, and then I had to drive this car home. My dad said, because he now had a car, would I like to borrow this car from him? So I said, well, yes, I need a car. So it was really, really, really hard for those 2 or 3 weeks. Plus, I was heavily pregnant and I had a toddler who does not listen to me. I borrowed the car off my dad. It made life so much easier. I must have had it about 3 or 4 weeks, and he said, if you want, you can buy the car off me and I'll do it like a weekly payment, whatever you can afford, whatever. So I said, yeah, that's fine. So I'm currently still paying off my dad because it only happened October time. All this happened. I've now got this car from my dad, and the back box has blown a hole in it, so I need to get it fixed. Me and Tidy are going to go look around some garages today to see what prices or whether people can even fix it, because they don't supply bits for this car anymore. I'm driving an MG. It's not a common part anymore, so I'm really struggling to find somewhere to actually fix it. So just a little update. We've met Tidy. We've been to one garage. That garage has said that it is the back box that needs sorting, and fix it if we put a sleeve on it. So I was like, yeah, okay, great. How much is that going to cost? They were like, right, okay, we'll just have a look, see how much the part is, and I'll work it all out for you. So I was like, yeah, sound great. They can't get hold of the parts. Back to square one. So now I'm on the way down towards my mum's house. I'm going to wash the car and hoover the car as well, because it desperately needs cleaning. Then go to this garage, see what they have to say. I've been to wash the car, so I've washed and I've hoovered the car, so that's nice and clean now. I've been to the garage. They can't supply the part. They said if you can get hold of the part, we can fit it for you, but we can't supply it. Me, Charlie and Daisy just popped to Tesco's, got some dinner for us both. So we're now going up to my mum and dad's house. I've just spoken to my sister. She's on her way home, and she said that my mum and dad have just passed her. So they're gonna be home as well. And then hopefully my dad might be able to give me some sort of advice for what to do.
This is metal putty, quick steel they call it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just a putty, and when you mix the two halves together, which are built inside it, it turns into that sort of colour, and then you put it around your exhaust to try to seal the gaps.
Happy?
Sounds right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Make sure it's still on.
Looks like it. So we're fighting the daylight here. We've fixed the exhaust, as you've just seen, but now this door catches. So he's going to try and fix that now. He's going to put a bracket on it and hope it works. So I'm back home now. Charlie fell asleep in the car on the way home. So he's in bed. I got home about 5 to 8, I think it was. But he's in bed flat out. Daisy was asleep, but she's no longer sleeping. She's just chilling. Danny's done some cleaning for me here today. He's put a wash load on. He's tidied Charlie's bedroom. And then when Lily stayed over here, we actually used this sofa cushion and made her a little bed on Charlie's floor. So he's brought that down, tidied up Charlie's room. He's tidied up in here. So it's one less thing I have to do. And so I'm going to end the video here, I think. Me and Daisy are just going to chill. Danny's just in the kitchen. He's thinking about what to cook us for tea. Charlie's had tea before I left my mum's, but me and Danny haven't. So he's thinking about what to cook for tea. So I'm going to end it here. Remember to like this video if you did, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye guys.